It's good.
Can I get some thumbs up, chat room messages, or something? It's good, Tudor? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect.
Very good to go.
That's great.
So you can put up the slides.
Yeah,
and
I'm doing that right now.
just wanted to say welcome everyone. So basically this is the last session in our open house stage of Startup Scouts, which was all about making time for people like you to join the sessions and ask questions while also learning something. And today is kind of the next step after the fire chat with Aurora, who was an investor and shared some of the insights about how you pitch, what to focus on, and so on. So we decided to go a bit deeper into that and to combine pitching and actually public speaking in general. So I give the stage to Bilal, and we start the session, which will be 1 hour.
All right, awesome. We lost 3 people in the 1 minute it took to make this introduction. I'm not sure where they went. Oh, we've gained 2 people. Power and internet in Lebanon is not the best, but we are determined. So onward, really quick introduction. My name is Bilal. I have been speaking in public since 2007. I just found my very first video, and it was extraordinarily embarrassing. I think it's important to realize that one of the best ways to learn about pitching is to watch yourself pitch. You need this feedback loop. So I just found this video. I'll share it with Tudor, but I'm a little shy. And Tudor, if you'd like to give a little bit of background about your experience in pitching.
Yeah, so I was, as I said in previous presentations and on the forum, I was in the startup world for about 10 years. I had the experience of going from a startup accelerator, getting funding, eventually messing things up. But it was not because of the lack of pitching and getting funding. It was because of the operations and other things in the company. But I was in a position to present many times, to pitch to investors and to talk on stages. So I would be happy to share some of the things that worked and some of the mistakes that we had on the way. Bilal? All right.
Am I unmuted? Okay, sorry. I have no idea why that happened. Okay. Excuse me. And to follow up with that, it's not just my previous experience. It's not just Tudor's previous experience. And actually, it's not just this team's experience. So we have Dara, who's done PR and also is a person who helped raise the Series A fundraising for Antwerp, one of these big co-working spaces that is just beginning to develop in Lebanon. And Munir is amazing at business development. And I wanted to let you guys know that all of us are available to you on the community platform to talk with, to ask any questions. So this is a 1 hour session, but it doesn't end here. This is the beginning of the sprint. Can whoever says mute, if anybody is not muted. Mute. Okay, great. And yeah, so we're making a site on the community platform that's specifically about the skills and support that you get from not just the team, but from each other. And then once we get mentors onto the platform as well, you'll be able to see what you can ask from mentors, what skills they have, and how to connect with them. So that is that. And here's our 1 hour of magic, aka the agenda. We're gonna get to know each other, but we're not going to just get to know each other in a little passive way. We're going to get to know each other in a way that's going to utilize what we're learning during this program. It's going to be like a baseline. So after we get to know each other, we're going to go into a quick intro of Startup Scouts because we have 12 people and I think I'm seeing some fresh faces and I just want to make sure everyone is very clear. Then we're going to go into a little bit about the context. So the customization of your pitches and Tudor is going to take us through that. We're going to go through pitching scenarios. winner tools and tactics. And then of course, we always end with a bit of Q&A, and we don't leave you without a follow-up action, because Pitchworthy is about you doing things, okay? It's not about us sharing things with you, which is why we're gonna do this get to know each other thing with a game that we're gonna play together. So what's your story? What are you currently pitching? What do you pitch every single day when you go to an event and somebody asks you, hey, what are you up to? What is your answer? Does anybody want to answer? I'm just going to pick one person to answer, and I want to hear, like, Mona. Okay. Who's PN? Shadi. Shadi, you want to answer? What's up, Shadi? Tell us about you. What you been up to? Listen, if you guys aren't ready to get engaged and like interact with each other, I'm sorry, but this is what the call is going to be like. You guys are going to have to be a little bit more responsive, because this is a action-oriented call. Let's see, Pia. Pia, would you be willing to share a little bit about yourself? Oh, who's speaking? I'm sorry. Kareem?
Hey.
All right, yalla, Kareem. Let's pretend we just met at a party, and I asked you a silly question like, so, tell me about yourself, or like, what are you up to?
So you want me to pitch the startup or what?
No, right now I'm asking you to pitch me you. And it could be, if your startup is like a big part of your life, then definitely tell me about your startup.
Yeah, okay. So I'm an AUB student. I'm an economics student at AUB. And I launched my startup. It's a like family business, but I'm managing it with my brother mainly. 4 months ago. It's an online grocery shop, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, great. So that was your first attempt at a pitch. What I want is, I'm going to break us out into something called a breakout room. You're just going to see it on your screen. It's going to say enter breakout room ? And you just say like, yes, take me to this breakout room. I'm going to pair you up into two. And we're going to learn something about presenting by presenting to each other, like pretending somebody asked me at a party. So like basically, so what do you do? Okay. And I want you guys to pitch to each other for basically 1 minute each. I'm going to put it on a timer. So as soon as you guys get into the breakout room, you're going to have to start. And I would just pick alphabetically. Whoever is alphabetically first will start by their first name, just so that we waste no time, because we only have 1 hour. So I'm going to put you guys into this breakout room. I want one person to pitch for a minute. And then when that minute is over, I'm going to send you a little chat, and it's going to say minute is over, switch. And then the other person's going to give a presentation for a minute. And then when we get onto the call, I want you guys to share the other person's story. And you'll see why we're doing that in a second. So I'm opening up the breakout rooms, and I guess I have to get out of this page. Okay, so I'm going to make 8 breakout rooms. Nope. 6 breakout rooms, create breakout rooms. And even Tudor is going to get into a breakout room. I hope you guys mind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, everyone, I'm going to move you to breakout room 5. Boom. There's 2 people in each room. Remember, you get 1 minute and then switch. Is everyone up for it? Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Paul Rafool. I'm going to move Paul Rafool into breakout room 4 because... Okay, Tudor, you're going to be in a room. You're going to not be with everyone. You're just going to be in your own place. I just want to make sure that there's 2 and 2, 2, 2, 2. Nobody leave, because if you leave, you won't have a good even number of people. All right, 1 minute, pitch to each other. So what do you do? That's the prompt. On your marks, get set. Boom. I'm going to get a timer. 1 minute is starting. Okay, it looks like most people have joined. Kareem is all by himself. Basil, if you could just click on the join the breakout. Razan, yes, very good. Basil, you're the only one who hasn't clicked. You know what? I'm going to move Kareem to breakout room 1. Okay, great. Basil, you can stay here. Hey, Mona. I'm sorry, but are you here? I think you might have just joined as we started this exercise. If you can hear me, if you'd like to unmute, I'd like to hear you pitch to me. Just pitch to me something about yourself. Or if Basil is here. I'm going to give him a little bit more time because it took some time to get there. Oh, it's loud here. All right. So, have there been new people that have joined? Leslie, how's it going, Leslie? So people are currently out in their breakout rooms, which will be closing in 18 seconds. And I want to hear, so Paul, were you there with Mohammed Barraj?
Yes, we were there.
And were you,
Paul.
Paul?
Yeah, my brother and I am Paul.
Hey guys, double Paul. All right, so we're about to get everyone back into the main room. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So, who would like to share about their partner?
I can go.
You want to go? That sounds great.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to go, please put it in the chat. That way we can have it starting in sequence. So just say me, and then we'll pick you next.
Right. So I had someone in the room who is quite proactive. He already introduced himself. So it's Kareem. But I wrote down some details. So Kareem is a Lebanese Cypriot from origins. He lived all his life in Lebanon. He's a BA student, so business administration, economics. In the final year, he got a scholarship and wants to continue his studies in law. And some time ago, as his father left the job, they decided to do something with the family, like a business to support the family, and that was an online grocery app. And they launched 4 months ago and doing good. That's basically.
Kareem, are you here?
Yes.
Okay, so one of my questions before you go and share what you heard from Tidor is, did he miss anything?
No, that's everything I mentioned.
Amazing. I bet you it's because Tidor was taking notes. Okay, now Tidor, tell me a little bit about, Kareem, tell me a little bit about Tidor.
Yes, sure. Tidor lives in Amsterdam. 10 years ago, he was involved in the startup project in Europe, in the US, and China, a bit in US and China. He went from a building, from building softwares to curriculum design, and he is part of the team of the Startup Scouts, and he is responsible for the curriculum.
Okay, amazing. Tador,
Awesome.
did Karim get everything?
Yeah, pretty accurate.
Okay,
Sorry.
so this is super rare. Normally, when someone is sharing, basically 30% of what you say is going to get through. This is why one of the core things people say when they're giving like pitch preparations is tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them, and then remind them about what you told them. So basically 3 times. If something's important, make sure you mention it at least 3 times. And what I'd like to also reference right now is our approach. So our approach is to start with you first, because you are the entrepreneur. Karim, how do you feel you did in presenting Tudor? I'm curious about your own thoughts about your own presentation.
I feel I mentioned everything Tudor said, but without the details. So he mentioned a bit more
Even
details,
better.
but I skipped them because I couldn't take notes.
Okay, so you know what? I'd love to hear from a couple of other people, and we're going to try the same process. So I'm just going to pick somebody. Actually, let's see. Pia, sorry, PN. PN, would you like to go? I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
I didn't put myself as initials. Is this for me, Patricia Napti?
You are Patricia Nebti.
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Bilal.
So who are you going to introduce, and do your best job at presenting them, please?
I will do my best. I'm presenting Razan Ghalihini, who is 24 and is a teacher of science, and she's hoping to do a startup or working on a startup to help middle and high school students to be mentored with advisors and counselors. And I didn't realize till after we were in this whole discussion that she's not in Lebanon. Somehow I was assuming, but she's not. So that was a very nice experience to learn about her startup hopes.
So cool. Razan, did she miss anything?
It's all right to say Patricia.
Did Patricia miss anything, Razan?
Hey, no, she said everything perfectly, like every single detail I told her.
Amazing. Okay, so the example that I wanted to give about people not being able to retain everything you share is totally failing. Because you guys are that incredible. So I'm really actually happy about this result. And I'd love it if Razan, if you could share a little bit about what you learned from Patricia.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best because I have the memory of a goldfish. So sorry in advance. Patricia is working on volunteering projects. It's called Project Lebanon, where they will... I forgot a lot. Okay, so from what I understood is that they will connect volunteers with projects, and they will have mentors who will mentor the people who want to work on the project on how to do these projects.
Okay, so how do you feel you did in your pitch? Razan?
Me or Patricia?
Let's start with you.
My pitch or Patricia's pitch?
Start with you, feedback about yourself. So one of the things that we're hoping to do is help people to assess themselves honestly and to find their growth areas. So just where do you think that you could have done better?
I have a lot of gap words and like filling words, which is not good. What else? I forgot a lot of the stuff. Yeah, that's mainly it.
And how could you do better next time, considering the gap words and the fact that you forgot a lot of what you heard?
Prepare better. Try to write down what I want to say and practice it before I say it, so I don't have to add a lot of fill-up words and gap words. And memorize the information I want to say better.
Awesome. I think one of that's like one of the most beautiful things is when you can recognize what you where you could have done better and find approaches to be able to do that. So we could spend all of this time going over this process. I wanted to thank everyone who volunteered and shared or were asked to share. Thank them for their efforts, and to remind them that in the startup sprint, we're going to be having more of these types of events, hopefully for longer. We only have an hour today, and I want to continue with our program. And I'll pass it over to Dora. You know, you're making me very self-conscious right now, since I'm realizing how often I go, I'm sorry, everyone. And I am working on getting better at reducing filler words. So thank you for pointing that out. Tfadhal, Tidor.
All right, so you can click the slides since you share the screen, and I'm gonna go with the next point. So as you joined this webinar, which was Learn to Sell, Pitching, and Public Speaking, you probably, or one of the expectation is, you know, I want to know how can I raise money? How can I pitch investors and get a check and, you know, have money for my startup? And part of this is covered in the program because Startup Scouts is an accelerator program, which we call a massive doing experience online. It's distributed. People from different cities can join, have different activities, and grow their startup. But learning to sell and pitch is way more than just bringing money into your startup. And here I just wanted to share a bit the timeline. So right now, this is the kind of the last session in the open house. The open house was a series of webinars like this where you can join and learn something and ask questions. Today is also the deadline, the soft deadline for the application into the accelerator. And we're going to take in the application on a first come, first served or assessed application till July 31st. And then we have the sprint session where you really work on your pitch deck and your presentation. And the final 10 teams join the accelerator from September to December with the opportunity to get cash prizes, but also a lot of discounts, software, and so on. And next. So now I want to switch a bit on what I mentioned earlier, that pitching is not just about fundraising money. It's a continuous process. And we need to be aware of what's the context. Are we pitching our own story at the party, like we just did, we just simulated here in the call? Are we pitching someone who has money to invest? Are we pitching a media company who wants to write an interesting article about a startup or about a success story from the Middle East? Or are we pitching the tax authority to give us a release on taxes, or to give us more time to file those reports because we were so busy to do all the other startup activities that we are late with our tax reports and so on. So next. So classic story that we pitch all the time in a startup, it can be shown in this picture, which it's something I took from Tiny Marketing Wings, a great resource for kind of promoting your startup and learning different tactics. How can you create a better pitch? How can you optimize your communication online and so on? But basically, the story of every startup is taking people or businesses from point A to point B. So their current situation where either they lose money, they have health issues, they lose time buying groceries, they lose time because of bureaucratic processes with paper and so on. And you want to take them to point B, where either they shop groceries online, or they buy property online, or they buy cryptocurrency with fewer fees and so on. Depends on your startup, but classically, every single startup has this story. We want to help a group of people, and you can put the name of that group of people like grandmothers, businesses, lawyers, students, to get, and then you mentioned point B, you know, lower fees, faster services, and so on. And always in between, there is a certain obstacle. Otherwise, people already would do what you try to help them doing. So you would have this narrative in general, like we as a startup, and you can place the name of your company, help these people get to this point in time. And we're the best out there at eliminating this obstacle in between. But you need to go to the next level, which is the next slide. So while you have your main timeline with ups and downs and different experiences that you have taking people from point A to point B, you need to have a set of keywords or scenarios that you use depending on the stakeholder that you communicate to. And stakeholder basically is any person or entity who has some interest in your startup or in you as a person. So it's, as an exercise, it's great to have your global pitch, like one sentence or one paragraph. What problem are you trying to solve and how? And then list all the organizations that you might interact with at some point in time, and what is the key message to them. For example, your team might be interested in the vision, in the problem that you solve, and maybe they want equity, so at some point in time they sell this equity and become rich and buy a house, or I don't know. Your partners, depends. It can be someone who can leverage the energy of the startup, and for example, if it's a corporation, they want to partner with a startup because they want to look cool or innovative, or they want to leverage your software. Or it might be an investor who wants to have a return on their money. So the language and the keywords you use are very different, and you need to go through the exercise of writing it down. Same with the state. How do you know, for example, this program right now is supported by the Summer of Innovation, which is a government program, and they want to show support and that young people in Lebanon are able to do stuff and to solve problems. So what is the relationship with them? And same with media. You usually, as you have your prototype on the website, will try to reach to some reporters and for them to write a story about you that doesn't look like advertising, looks like a native story to that platform, and so on. So you get my point. Basically, you need to have your global pitch and then list every single possible stakeholder in your organization and what's the specific message that you tell them. Not to dilute your main pitch, but just to make sure you are aware of the context, so you don't repeat like a robot every single time the same pitch, and it's going to be fake and people are going to feel it anyway. So this is one big takeaway that I suggest from my own experience. And Bilal is going to go deeper into more detail about different scenarios of pitching and what you need to prepare for every single type of pitch. So take it away.
Before I move on to that next step, I wanted to thank you for mentioning the idea of authenticity. Because as many of you know, I've been asking you guys to take an assessment and talk about strengths and developing strengths. And in the research that we've been reading, learning what sort of character strengths support an entrepreneur through the entrepreneurial journey and really make a difference in whether or not they are able to succeed at what they set out to do is authenticity. So, and it's core to pitching that you show up as authentically as possible and develop real authentic relationships. And I encourage everyone that wasn't on Aurore's call, which happened yesterday, I believe, to go onto the Fireside. Aurora, if you can put the link up in the chat, that would be very helpful. To just go up onto the Fireside chat section of the community website and watch her video. She's an investor and she's telling you exactly how to talk to her. Basically, if you ever want to raise money and you want to hear what an investor is looking for and looking to hear, check out her thing. And one of the core elements is authenticity. So if you haven't taken the assessment yet, now's a good chance to get a better peek inside of yourself. So pitching scenarios, the main pitching formats. So just like Tudor was talking about, the pitch being different for every person you're talking to, there's also different types of pitches depending on your purpose. So if you're going to be pitching to people at a party because you don't know who you're talking to, you're just meeting somebody, you're not sure what the relationship is, you want to give them context about what you are about, what project you're working on, you need to have an elevator pitch. No one's going to sit and listen to you for 20 minutes if they're just meeting you for the very first time, right? So this is a sort of graph that shows, depending on your purpose and how much time you have, the kind of pitch that we can develop. And we're going to do something at the end of the startup sprint, which is take the people that have been putting the most amount of effort into growing and developing their projects to the Sarai for a semifinals event and pitch there. And to do that, we need to make sure your pitches are excellent. And the pitch that we're going to be using is a 5-slide pitch. And this is the structure that we're going to be refining both during the sprint and then presenting at the Sarai. And it encompasses a really big chunk of a business in just 5 slides. So the beginning is the why. Basically, what's the problem and how are we going to fix it, okay? And then the second is, how is this financially sustainable? How is this a business? So it's the business model and the customer and the market. And this is the part that an investor is going to be looking for. And maybe the problem, the solution is going to be a part of what a potential hire is going to be looking for, somebody that's in it for the vision. And then the last part is super critical, and that's team and timeline. That's basically telling everyone, this is the problem, this is the market that we're going to be addressing that problem for, and here's why we are going to be able to do it. Because we have these skills, because we have this experience, and here's our timeline of where we've been and what we're going to be moving forward to. So this is your 5-slide deck. And actually, we weren't planning on doing this, but let's look at the time. We have half an hour. I think we can do it. Tudor, what do you think about doing another breakout room, but giving people, let me think, 3 minutes each to take them, maybe, 3 minutes to write their very first 5-slide deck. Literally, don't give it too much thought. Just write down the words. If you guys have a pencil or a paper, or you can use the chat box, or you can open up a notepad, just write in problem, solution, customer/market, business model, team/timeline, and then pitch to each other. And I'll give you guys 3 minutes each to do that. You are okay. Some people are way ahead of us, so they can totally do it. But if you're not there, we'll give you guys 3 minutes to write that content. I think we have time for it. Tudor, do you agree? Would you like to go through and do this, or I think it'll be too much to try to manage in this call? You're muted, Habibi. Let me unmute you. Sorry, there you go.
Do we need the rooms, or we can do it collectively? Like we just
actually, you know what? I'm going to put on some music. Yeah. Let's do this right now. Okay, guys, I'm going to join you in this process, and we're not going to hear the pitch from everybody, although I would love to. But this time around, we're not going to do that. I'm going to give everyone 5 whole minutes then to take their time at writing this. And then we're going to take a couple of pitches from people. And then I'm going to reiterate, you are the first person to assess yourself, because we're working on getting better at self-assessment and choosing your own path, because that is one of the core tasks of an entrepreneur, is to pick their own path. So that's how we're going to do the assessments, is you first. And I'm starting a timer right now. Boop. Is everyone ready for this? Y'all excited? All right, 5 minutes has started. I'm going to put on some music.
تغمز لي وبجفن العين خط رموشة وفي قلبي بندهلك مرة واثنين ولي صوتي ما تردي بندهلك مرة واثنين ولي صوتي ما تردي تغمز لي وبجفن العين خط رموشة وفي قلبي تغمز لي وبجفن العين.
All right, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
How was that? Who got some? Actually, I feel like I got so much clarity doing this exercise. I had a really good time. Did anybody else feel that way?
I felt I don't understand the lyrics.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They were not Arabic. Well, the last one was sort of North African Arabic.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Pia, later we can give you some examples. We're going to upload it to the topic post and share it with everyone. And don't worry if you got stuck. I'd like to know if anybody was able to complete the program, because I know Muhammad T prepared beforehand, but I'd like to see if anybody did it in these 5 minutes so we can get an example of a fresh start. Okay, so Leslie wasn't able to. Kareem, were you able to pull it off?
I actually knew everything I wanted to write. So
Amazing, amazing.
if
So
someone else can start.
would you be? But you this is the first time you wrote it, right?
Yeah, it's the first time I wrote. But can someone go before me so I can?
Yeah, sure. And even if you were stuck, Pia, would you like to go and share as much as you can, just to get like a first draft view of what you've done?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, and really, don't worry. This is your first time. This is the time to try and to feel things out, and we'll definitely work with you on the business model part later. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to present your first draft at your 5-slide deck. You ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
So finding a space to park has become a big frustration for many Lebanese drivers, no matter the purpose of their time or trip. And parking lots rapidly become oversaturated. Drivers may hesitate to give their car keys to parking lot personnel or valet parking. And not to forget that both are getting more expensive. Safa is an app that drivers can use to find and rent empty private parking spaces around Beirut and Lebanon. It creates additional parking spaces by maximizing the utility of underutilized parking spaces. And owners of private parking spaces can rent the spaces when they are not using it, for example, when they go to work, so that other people coming in the area can park their cars. Our customers and the targeted market for now is individuals and businesses across Lebanon. I got stuck on the business model part.
Yeah, and then how about your team and roadmap?
Team and roadmap, so far we're a team of 2, maybe 3 soon. And our timeline, we're currently gathering data to develop the prototype, basically.
All right, awesome. So you finished early. You have 30 seconds about to do your business model, which is probably a good amount of time. And I first wanted to give you an opportunity to do some reflection. How do you feel that you did on your very first pitch?
I went a bit fast, I feel. A bit fast. Could have definitely given more information. There was some repetition at some point for some ideas, either in the problem or in the solution. definitely need more information regarding customers, the timeline. If I have numbers to support what I'm saying, it would be good too. But I've been struggling with actually gathering numbers. So yeah, this is the part that we're working on.
All right. I'd love to talk to you more about how you're doing this data gathering stuff. I'd like to open it up to the participants, actually. Kareem or anybody. We're not done yet. Mohammed, we're not switching because I'd like to show the process that Pitchworthy uses. I'd like you guys now to offer feedback. I saw Mohammed Barraj unmuted for a second. If Mohammed Barraj, you'd like to offer some feedback to Pia or whoever was is interested. Patricia? Miss Nebti? Do you have any feedback for Pia? Do you have any feedback for Pia about her very first pitch?
Yes, I think that it's a great idea to make use of parking spaces that otherwise aren't used, and I certainly could apply for them. I think that she obviously needs a business model to figure out how to monetize it, but I'm sure that there are ways to do it like people do with bicycles and Airbnb and all kinds of other things, that one just needs the right app to do it. And you need something that makes people feel protected. That's important. You're talking about going into people's private parking lots and making sure that they get out when you want to be back in. So I think one needs to figure out all of the obstacles and then have that be worked into your system.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Joe Safi, do you have any feedback? It could either be about the project itself or about the pitch.
Well, it was interesting. I didn't I barely reached the team thing. The team about the team.
This is for feedback for Pia still. I'm sorry. I know we're taking some time, but I'd love to get your feedback about Pia. And her
exactly, and I would understand what Pia went through. This is why I'm going to be went through, because it's quite a complicated process, and saying those. I think that Pia, if Pia had more time to develop more the ideas, she would have reached more accurately. The listeners, the audience, and the 5 minutes, I guess it's a bit short for such an exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, for the idea of Pia, I think it's quite an interesting idea, though.
I think she did an amazing job for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to go up the tier. So basically, I'm going to give a little bit of my feedback. Tudor wants to give us feedback. Basically, our whole goal is to show that you, as an entrepreneur, can make your own decisions, you can do your own assessments, and you can rely on each other to grow as a community, and then come to us when you need further help. So the one thing that I wrote
Bilal?
down. Oh, yes, تفضلي.
Sorry, I lost the connection. I couldn't hear what you guys said at the end.
Don't worry, it's recorded, and we're gonna post it up. I'm so sorry about the connection. Okay. It'll be recorded. So some of my feedback was that I couldn't see you. Okay, actually, I wanted to give you feedback about your feedback. Basically, we have to be gentle with each other and ourselves. And just because we're asking for feedback doesn't mean it needs to be negative. And so I wanted first to give you a positive bit of feedback, because then it might encourage you to listen to what else I have to say. So the positive bit of feedback is, I love the fact you started with a story. It helped me understand very easily about where you were going and why this was a problem, who's the problem, who owned the problem. And so I was totally with you along that path. And so I really, really appreciated that part. And a lot of the stuff that I would have told you, you already mentioned. So about going too fast, about repeating yourself. And I think that it just goes to show, what would I have done except for the thing that you could have shared yourself? So I just really, I want to applaud you for your ability at recognizing where you could grow, and encourage you also to recognize what you're doing well so you can do even more of that. So thank you, everybody. We don't have much time to continue doing this. Mohammed, take your pitch, use the use Loom thing and put it up on the feedback section. Everybody, if you're not on the community app, get on the community app, because these calls are an hour, they're short, they're fast, and that is where we're going to be able to really deepen and get together. Some of the stuff I wanted to share is, don't forget to breathe. And maybe I'm not doing such a good job right now because the time is short and I'm speaking quite quickly. And if I was breathing, I would be doing way fewer ums. And one of the things that I recommend, and I'm not doing because it's a whole hour-long event, but remember, even when you're pitching online, to stand. Because if you're standing, there's just much more energy. You're able to breathe a little bit better because your diaphragm's not basically being pushed up by your stomach, it's smushing into your legs. So stand, breathe, relax. And sometimes people are nervous when they get on stage. And there are many ways that you can reduce your anxiety. And one of those ways is to breathe. It's always with you. And to reduce anxiety, there's a very specific form of breath work that's been proven to actually reduce cortisol levels. So it's what is showcasing like the fact that you have stress in your body, and that's to breathe in a very specific pace. And it's 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out. So you can just count with your hands while you're breathing. And there's many more tips that we can give about reducing stress, about feeling more confidence, and hopefully we'll have a lot of time together, not just through the sprint, but for those of you that make it through the accelerator, we're going to practice. That's the other thing, getting a lot of practice. So get up, record your videos, post them on Loom, get over the anxiety, and let's see your beautiful faces. And remember, look into the camera. Stand, breathe, 3 steps, you're going to be way ahead of the game already. Okay, so now we have 5 minutes-ish left. I was wondering if anybody had some questions.
I have a comment, not
Yes.
a question. So there is a lot to cover about pitching and selling and public speaking in 1 hour, and there are many people here for us to give a chance to every single one to have a presentation. So I have 2 big takeaways for everyone here to give as much value as possible. First, if you are serious about going further with Startup Scouts and pitching at the, how do I say it correctly? Sarai?
Sarai, no.
Sarai, yeah. Then please consider the context. Who is in the room? If it's, politicians, corporates, youth from Lebanon who want to do a startup. And when designing your story, your pitch, have in mind people in the room and make sure you have eye contact and you connect and you relate to them. This is the first. The second, we put together some resources that you can take away after this session. And the biggest 2 are Loom, which is a Chrome extension. You can use your Chrome browser and you can record yourself, your screen and yourself side by side, pitching your startup in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And then the second tool is our community forum. And we created a special category called feedback. So it's a safe place, it's private. So if you're willing to invest the time to get free feedback and advice, just record yourself, put your video there. It's just a link, and we're gonna check it later tonight, tomorrow, and the next week to give you feedback. How can you improve that? So remember Loom and the community forum. So we'll be there for you to give feedback, and there you can take all the time you want to ask questions, to dive into the business model, the team, and so on. So
And
yeah,
you know, we'll put why don't we share these slides on the topic for this talk today?
I mean, if you show the presentation again, there's a link people can use to access the.
Okay, great. And what I would like to do is actually add just a, well, you know what? They already have the 5 slides in it. So they can, or we can make a template for them that just has the titles for each topic slide so that they can take it away and easily edit it. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Tador. And if you're on the feedback section, remember, first connect with yourself. Watch your own video. I know it's embarrassing to see yourself sometimes, but just watch your own video, get your own feedback, and then try connecting with a couple of the other people on this call. We can leave the call open after Tador and I leave. I won't close the room. You can feel free to chat, or you can even just get onto the introduction page and start talking with people. And then remember, whenever you use this @ sign, you can message people on the chat on the community platform. And sorry, I'm going to type it in so you can see it. And when you do that, I will be notified that you mentioned me. And please connect with each other. Use this @ symbol. I'm sure it's familiar for you already. This platform is actually very powerful and very engaging if you put in the effort and the time. So I will share the screen. Wait, am I not sure? Oh, I share the music. Okay, I will share the screen one last time. And yeah, and if anybody else has other questions, we're still available for that. Yeah, and thank you everybody for showing up today. Really, everyone that showed up on time, that was amazing. This has been the best attended, the best timely, best actively participating group yet. So I applaud all of you for showing up and giving yourself the time and space to participate. And I'm sorry we couldn't get everybody to pitch. At one day we're gonna have just like, this is why we normally do them in breakout rooms, so that everyone can pitch at the same time. So we'll do that next time, but I'm glad that we did it all together so we could all see the process that Pia went through for assessing yourself and hopefully getting better. And we'll see you all on the forums.
There's the next slide.
Oh, sorry.
For the one. Yeah. So if you follow this link, you'll have access to the slides, few resources that we shared with you, like articles and videos that we recommend. And of course, if you go on the community.pitchworthy.co, you get access to the forum where you can share your pitch and get feedback from us. From
each other as well. So there's actually one special @ symbol, which is @ss-open, which messages everybody. Use it sparingly, okay? It exists to notify everyone. Use it sparingly, otherwise we'll just be spamming each other. So the best way to ask people for their opinion is to first give of yourself, contribute, respond to their posts, talk to them. And then once you've done that, you can ask.
Almost.
All right. Anybody else?
All right.
Bilal?
أيوة, تفضل.
Just I already asked you this question, but to double check, to apply for the Sarai, there's no actual application, right? There's only the community page that we should log into and participate in those webinars, right?
Exactly. So the way that we're getting the applications is how much you apply yourself to going, introducing yourself to people, taking the activities that we are suggesting seriously and finding ones that really resonate with you and doing them, sharing on the community platform, coming to this presentation is exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. Volunteering to pitch first, that's exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. Because we just want to make sure that you understand that this isn't a place where you go and you sit and we give you content. And so if we accept people into the sprint and they're expecting us to lecture them every day, then it's a bad fit. So what we're doing for the application is just seeing like who is showing up, who is active, who is participating, because then we know that they have the right sort of mindset and attitude and that we can work together during this pitch. So that's the application. The application is you being in this room right now.
Okay, thank you.
Does everyone get it? You guys have applied.
So that's why we call it a massive online doing experience, because it's really about peer-to-peer learning and doing things. And you'll see from the sprint on the accelerator that is pretty much participant-generated content and activities, and all the mentors and speakers that we invite are tailored to the needs that you voice out. So, all right, I want to just thank you everyone for your time and the quick simulation experience. I need to run. I need to run to the ferry to catch another meeting.
All right.
So see you in the forum.
Yeah, I really would love to see, you guys would blow me away if you put up a 5-slide deck with a Loom video on the feedback section of the community platform. My mind would be like, okay, just to let you know. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys later. I hope you guys have been enjoying the WhatsApp messages and the emails. I try to make them valuable and helpful, make it clear what's going on. And I'll see you very shortly. Feel free to reach out whenever. Bye.